Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to the greatest show on earth, the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. I am your gracious host, Xavier, and today I got another crazy episode as promised. When I did the last episode with this gentleman, I told him we got to do a part two. We got to bring it back. There's so much more I feel like we need to discuss, and he's here. He's back in the show. It's my guy, Shawn. Meaike, welcome back, brother. I'm super excited to have you.
Dude, I'm super excited to be here, man. Thanks for having me back in.
Most definitely, man. I'm really looking forward to this. And before we was recording, like I said, I got a lot of things I want to discuss. But just real quick, we was talking about Rolexes, and you said how growing up is something that you like watches. But you said you had a teacher. You tell the story yourself. What did the teacher tell you?
So I had when I was growing up, my mom raised us, and if you knew where we lived, you knew we didn't have any money. I mean, it wasn't complicated. Like, it was a subsidized apartment complex. So my mom wasn't rich, and I was in class, my English class, and I had to write a poem on something. I don't even know what topic was, and it was a Rolexes. I was like rhyming with that, right? And my teacher handed it back to me, and he's like, gave me the grade, and he's like, by the way, you have to understand those are really expensive, and you'll never have one. And I was like. And the good news for me, man, is I never cared what my teachers thought at any age. Like, when I was, like, in kindergarten,
you didn't care.
In first, second grade, number one, I was angry, didn't care. Then when I got to be, like, in fifth grade, I was like, oh, they don't make any money, and I want to make money. Like, I knew where they lived, too. Like, they didn't live where I lived, but they didn't live in big, badass houses either. So I was like, okay, they're not going to be a source of information for me, but I'm cool. So I didn't react to them, yell, scream. But I said to myself, I want a Rolex. I didn't even know I'd ever want to watch. I'm like, I want a Rolex. And when I finally made enough money, I bought one. Then I started buying them because I was like, I'd go back to my Rolex guy, and I was like, dude, I still have this one. He's like, I can sell that one for this much. And I'm like, they always do that? He's like, yeah, it's supply and demand, man. There's only so many. It's only so many, so hold on to them. I've never sold one. I own about every one that they got. So it's, and it's funny when I was trying to come up in business, and I think people make this mistake still today. I think they think, well, it's not that way anymore. It doesn't matter. I was at a Dallas Cowboys game about a year ago, and I was trying to get on the field. And the dudes I was with kept coming up like, hey, dude, we don't have the field passes. We can't get down there. And they were dressed like I typically dress, shorts and T-shirt. And I said, hey, let's go back down. Just follow me. And they said, dude, they're going to stop us. I said, they won't stop a dude in a suit. And also there's a dude in a suit, and there's a dude in a nice suit. Like, not that I look good, but it's a nice suit. It ain't a cheap suit. When I got my suits at Men's Warehouse, it looked like my grandfather was 30 pounds heavier, and I wore his suits, which said he ain't got no money. Because you don't have to have any style when you have any kind of money. Somebody will go ahead and fit it for you. You don't have any style. And we walked, and dude, people would stop me. I just said, just follow me. I just stayed on my phone, and they would stop me. I'd be like, hey, what's up, man? I just kept walking. Before you know, I was on the field. About half an hour into, some security guard comes over and goes, you got your pass? And I was like, no, man, I left it upstairs. He's like, oh, man. Was apologetic to make me leave, but I stayed on for 30 minutes. And it's just, you can say what you want, but my Honda Accord was worth less than the first fitted suit I got. And I kept driving my Honda Accord because nobody in a business meeting said, hold on during the meeting, let's go out and see what he's driving. And also, I have pretty good self-image, but I like to feel comfortable in that setting. And most of the folks I was in front of looking to get money from at banks or private equity companies, they were dressed that way. So I was like, why not go ahead and try to fit in before I fit in, if you will. So that's how I've always been, man. So I keep trying to find stuff. Like my old, Steve Harvey's like my old, like I can never dress like him because he's a stud. But like I found a guy finally, I was like, do you know where he gets those suits from?
Okay. And
he was like, yeah. So I got 14 of them in the same. Oh, yeah, dude, you throw up. You find out how much them suits are.
How much?
Mine, 17 to 20 grand a piece.
A suit?
A suit. Yeah, this was like about that.
17, 20 grand a suit.
Here's the other good thing. You get them fitted, you won't gain no weight. You will not gain no weight, so you won't get any weight. You'll be like, I want to eat that, but my suit. And he said, do you want me to? I said, no, don't leave anything open. Keep it like this. I ain't going to gain no weight. I'm not going to. I'm not going to screw these suits up. They're too expensive. So, and they're comfortable.
Yeah.
And they feel
okay.
It
looks comfortable.
Hey, dude, I make me look a lot better than I actually look. I need all the help I can get.
But I want to continue on this conversation because I feel like my generation, the generation's younger, I'm almost 30. It feel like we kind of devalue the importance of carrying ourselves appearance-wise. Like people downplay a suit a lot. Like my generation, like, man, I ain't wearing no fucking suit.
100%.
And what do you think about that? Because I believe everything you saying. Your appearance is everything. When you dress nice, you get treated differently. I've seen this myself, whether I'm walking in a bank, where I'm going anywhere. It could be the grocery store. It's just a different level of respect that people going to give me just based on my appearance. But I feel like a lot of people kind of like, well, fuck that. I don't care about that. But it's like, that's a weird mentality to have, in my opinion.
I think when I first came on your show, I wore what I typically wear 99% of the time, shorts and T-shirt.
Right.
But I earned the right to wear those. I mean, I went and started making money where I wasn't going to be denied when I walked into the room. Let's take the insurance companies I work with. I would never have walked in there 15 years ago dressed like that. Not because, and you can go like, well, that's bullshit. They're being judgmental. Bro, you can talk about whatever you want, but the truth is the truth. Facts are facts. Numbers are numbers. So if you want to fight the machine, have at it, dude. I wasn't trying to be overly frustrated. I was trying to be overly successful. And I didn't think I was selling out to anybody or being some kind of punk because I was dressed. And I felt better dressing nice. Yeah. So for me, I earned the right to do that. Now, I will agree with you. Back when I was your age, dude, it's what everybody did.
That's right.
Right? And I think in today's world, I think, dude, once you've made your mark and you're doing your thing, have at it. But, you know, the guy that said to me the other day, he says, man, well, so-and-so dresses like this. I said, bro, he's a professional athlete. This other one's a professional artist. You ain't neither one of those things. You're a person like the rest of us, has the ability to go make a bunch of money. God didn't make you a professional athlete. He didn't make you a professional artist. So don't get it twisted. You can wear whatever you want when you have that kind of talent. The rest of us, we're working hard at what we were given, and we're all competing with each other. So when we wake up in the morning, we're all competing with each other. We ain't competing with them dudes that can play like that. They can walk out of bed. Dude, they can wear whatever they want. Russell Westbrook can wear 2 hats, 12 ties. It don't matter. Bron James can wear what he wants. Pick any sport. Bryce Harper can wear what he wants. It don't matter. They have above average skill and talent. Snoop can wear what he wants the rest of his life.
Nobody will care.
Nobody will care. But the rest of us, dude, we're in this arena competing against each other. And that's a good thing. I like that. Yeah. Why not give yourself an advantage? And for me, I just wanted people to, if they were going to think about something when they met me, especially early on, imagine walking into a place and trying to negotiate a business deal. Now, again, if you have special talent, different. Like, you have a talent for this. You're very humble, but you have a talent. You're very talented.
Thank you.
You've probably, whether you knew it your whole life, you're talented. But if you don't have a special talent, dude, you have to make sure you get an edge. I always want an edge. It's why you show up early. It's why I try to dress. All those things that people think don't matter,
it matters.
They matter. And you know what? You say they don't matter, but you're sitting around bitching, moaning, and complaining. And here's the thing for me. The struggle for me is the amount of people that listen to people that don't have any money. Like, the stuff I have doesn't excite me. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, how was your flight? Good, dude. I don't fly commercial. I mean, it's a private jet. It's a lot better. There's no TSA. I pull my car up like to here, and then the plane's here, and I got to walk into here. And then it flies, it lands, and it walks. I get out, I walk into the car that I get, and then I drive over here. So it's always awesome. That doesn't make anything other than, dude, they're expensive. You have to make money. You have to make money to fly them. Yachts are expensive. You know, my buddy's like, how'd you use it to go to Miami game? I go, from our place, sure you can. The fuel's $800. He's like, $800? I'm like, $800. And you're a grown man, so you can use my boat, but you pay for the fuel, the captain, the stew. You pay for all that stuff, dude. And I don't say that because what I always like to say to people, like, and it's not like it makes you who you are, but you can't be given business advice if you still broke as shit. And unfortunately, a lot of folks are doing that. And I think, where I grew up, most everybody where I grew up, they had like a nice car and a few nice outfits, but they're broke. And the problem is, like, I'm 50. You brought this up the other day. Dude, I didn't start making any money till I was...
I want to touch on that.
Till I was real money, till I was like 36.
Because the people that's listening, they might be, that's subjective to a lot of people. What's real money?
I appreciate you asking the clarifying question. I never made more than $300,000 a year until I was 36.
So you was 36?
So I was 36. Never. Now, understanding growing up, because you asked about perspective, I wanted to make $100,000 a year. Like, that was like, I thought I'd eventually be like rich. Nobody in my family made any money. So I started making $100,000 a year in my 20s. but I was still starving. I just didn't know how to get ahead. So my real estate license, I went and flipped houses, did everything real estate related, and I kept my job. I got to be 36, got involved in life insurance. I made $300,000. I was like, damn. And then I started looking around at the people making money. And I was like, hey, man, how much you make this year? And I was like intolerable with people, because I asked everybody, really? How much? Oh, yeah, I didn't care. And they'd be like, that's a weird question. I'm like, it's weird you won't answer it. Why is it such a weird question? We're all in the same business together, dude. Shoot me straight. How much you make this year? You know, I'd be like, he won't tell anybody how much he makes. He's full of shit, obviously. Why? He lying about something, because he's not that proud. So for me, 36 years old. So for those of you that are out there that are 27, 28, 30, and you're like, man, these guys are rich. First of all, most of the people that tell you they're rich are not. They're just not. So you have to understand that. That's when I start wanting to know, what do you drive, where do you live? Because if I'm going to be doing business with you, or I'm going to be lending you money, if I'm going to trust you, I just want to know that you have something to lose. People with nothing to lose are dangerous. I got stuff to lose. You got stuff to lose. You and I can walk out this building, walk 2 blocks, and have somebody square up on us that we might be able to handle no problem, but that dude has nothing to lose. He slept on the sidewalk. You don't want to get arrested.
Yep.
I don't necessarily want to get arrested. I don't want to be on video beating the hell out of a guy that sleeps in a sleeping bag. Neither do you.
Neither do I.
But he ain't got nothing to lose. He's a dangerous dude. Now, dangerous in a bad way. Like, he'll do anything. What's he care? You give me a guy or girl that's broke as hell and gets in business with you, and all of a sudden the business goes bad. What do they got to lose? They turn on you, don't make a payment. They have nothing to lose. Literally nothing. So I think for me, don't get caught up in the fact that you're not where you want to be in 3 months or 3 years or 2. And also this idea that you're going to start working at 20 and retire at 30. Like,
no.
Guys, let's
There's so many people that believe that.
Dude, like, what world do you live in, bro? And I'll tell you, I hire a lot of guys in their 20s. And I tell them all the time, I said, I'm going to shoot you straight. And they'll come in, the guy the other day come in with his girlfriend. I said, let me shoot you straight, bro. You like her? He said, yeah, man, I love her. She's awesome. I said, okay, cool. I said, you don't make no money. At 18 and 20 and 21, it's cute for you to be broke. Somebody did. Everybody else is broke. You're getting to be almost 30. Give her a year or two, she's going to find a dude that ain't broke, and it ain't going to be you. And he might even be half as good looking as you, but she ain't going to be with your ass because you're broke. Not because she has to be taken care of by this dude, but she don't want to take care of a dude either. So you better figure your stuff out. So people, it comes up on you fast.
It does.
But dude, you don't go from making $80,000 a year to making $27 million a year. you go like, I'm at 80, how can I get to $150? And if it takes you, my first million, I didn't make my first $1 million a year until I was 43. 43. And, you know, man, like, and that's what I think that's all, like, my kids are 19 and 21. It's so different for them because they're like, dude, we grew up with nothing. Like, we weren't broke, but, like, they got what they needed to get, but there was by no means the stuff that we have. So it's kind of like they've lived both ends of it, which is kind of weird,
right?
You know, to them. So, and then once I was at $1 million, I'm like, why can't I make $10 million a year? And then why can't I build a company and sell that for millions and millions? Why couldn't I sell something for $100 million? Why couldn't I eventually get to $1 billion? Like, why not? 100%. Like, what? Why can't I? You know, and I think that's how I started thinking. But dude, I didn't hit that. But I never stopped.
Right.
I didn't slow down in my 20s, in my late 20s, my 30s. I never stopped.
It's so much you touching on that I want to touch on, man. This is a powerful conversation. But with all the things you said, what do you say to people? Because I talk to people all the time that's around my age, maybe a little bit older, a little bit younger, and they feel like they're failures because they haven't accomplished what they thought they were going to accomplish by 28, 29. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, I'm not a millionaire yet. Fuck, my life is over. I'm a failure. What do you say to people with that mentality?
Well, first of all, it's you're not thinking the right way. So first of all, I say, based on that, how did you define, who says you're a failure? Number one, who says you're a failure? Do you say you're a failure or somebody else? Like, who's telling you you're a failure? You know, and they'll usually tell me, well, I just feel like a failure. Why? I'm a big question asker. Why do you feel like a failure? Well, I just feel like I've be further ahead. Okay, got it. How old are you? 28. Okay, dude, would you prefer to feel this way at 28 or at 80? Well, of course, at 28. You have the rest of your life ahead of you. Here's the good news. Everything you've done from 20 to 28 ain't worked. So now we know a lot what to do.
Right.
We stop, let's be honest, we stop doing the things you've been doing from 20 to 28. Because a lot of times what it is for people is there's things in their lives they can't handle. And it screws them up. Could be a relationship. Could be drinking. Some people drink and ain't no problem. They can drink. Dude, I could drink till 3 in the morning. I used to go to college, play baseball, get up, practice, go to school, get done, drink all night, go to UPS, work there from 1 a.m. to about 5 a.m. part-time, 20 hours a week, drunk, sober up, do it again. I drink 7 days a week. I could do that, but I couldn't get ahead. I could survive doing that, but I was not thinking during the day about what can I do today. Well, I know I was in college, but I had brain fog. Plus, I did stupid shit when I was drinking, right? There's some people that sit around that are talented that'll sit around and get high all day long. Well, dude, their job is to be creative and get high. They're fine. That ain't you. You have to be up and moving. So you have to figure out the things in your life. It could be the way you eat. It could be your sleep. It could be the person you listen to. It could be where you live. It could be a million things. But most people just continue from 20 to 28, what they did, the rest of their lives. Then they're like, I just never got my break. No, you had a break. See, there's no such thing as a break. There's no part of me that's been like, I have a deep faith in God, and I believe if you do the right thing, God will put your hands on you, give back. You're obligated to give back. But I don't think all of a sudden they're like, oh, you know what? Today, man, that's going to be Shawn's break. Today's just Shawn's break. If you're waiting for your break, it ain't coming. You have to go get it. And for me, it was like, you're 28 years old, dude. You have the world, you have your whole life ahead of you. And what are you judging that on? Who's told you? And by the way, here's the funny thing. I get dudes who will call me about their podcast, and they're 28, 30. And, dude, they're bro. And they want to talk. And I'm like, dude, what do you want to talk about? Like, you can pay me to come on, but what do you want to talk about? Like, you're not going to talk about teaching them to make money, right? Because you don't make no damn money. If you want to teach them about how not to make money, like if you want to come on and go, hey, man, my new guest, bro, Tim's going to kill it. He's broke as shit. He's going to tell you what he's doing, and don't ever do what Tim does. Today is opposite day. Do the opposite of Tim. But they don't do that. You know, and I think what I'm doing right now, I interrogated my reality. Interrogated my reality. I interrogate other people's as well. But I interrogate mine first and foremost.
What's the questions you ask to interrogate your reality?
Man, I ask myself how that made me feel, right? Like, today, how did you feel today based on how hard you worked? Or did you make a difference? Or when you interacted with that group or that business, or you launched this or you pitched this, how did you feel? And I always want to come up with 3 things I would have done differently. I rarely go, man, I just killed it. Like, I felt really good about being with you last time, but I was like, man, I need to get, like, I'm always trying to get better. I'm like, what could I have done better? What would I want to talk about? Did I make sure I listened to him the entire time when he asked his questions? Man, he was really good. Was I appreciative enough? Like, I last time I was like, I need to be more appreciative. And I hope I was, but I was like, to me, I was like, I need to be more appreciative. Like, when I end, I need to be more appreciative. So that's I ask questions that are hard to answer. They hurt. You know, when you're, it's like I used to put my debt on my refrigerator. When I felt bad about the way I looked physically, dude, I would literally walk in front of a mirror and take a picture every day. I didn't go like, oh, here's my progress, but I want to know what I look like. And I'd be like, shit. But I didn't want to hide from it. Because what most people do when they look bad is walk by the mirror and don't look. Don't look. They put the towel up higher, wrap it tight, don't look in the mirror. Bro, you know how you look, you know how you feel. I want to know straight up. I wanted to look at my bank balance. I wanted to look at what was going on. If I have a business that I've invested in. I almost one day I'll be able to. And right now I'm in well over $1 million. I haven't got $1 out of that thing. Okay, now who knows if we will or won't, you know. But that's one of the things I think about. Now it doesn't affect me as much anymore. But back in the day, I put a lot of my net worth into it at the time. You're talking about 10 years ago. I was piling money into it. And it's a legitimate business. It's where we are, and there's a lot of factors into it about what we can and can't get. But I used to always think about it. Like, I'm pretty sure that was a mistake. I'm not 100% sure yet, but I didn't forget about it. I didn't go out of sight, out of mind. So you got to do that with yourself. And at 28, your reality is, dude, you're going to be fine. Take a breath. Most of the people that are 28 that tell you they're rich are lying to you.
Yep.
Everybody that tells you they bought this and bought that and got into crypto and did this. Dude, most of them didn't make any money.
This is a fact.
They tell you the success story. They just don't tell you the failures, the multiple failures they've had.
This is a fact. Man, so let me ask you this. You're 50 now. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like, was life better for 30-year-old Shawn Meaike or 50-year-old Shawn Meaike?
Dude, life is better for 50-year-old Shawn Meaike. Yeah, life is, I feel more at peace.
Really?
Yeah, I never thought I'd be in a place where I'm an addict. Straight up addict, like alcohol, drugs, sober 22 years, and then I became addicted to work. Straight up, like I became I have to work 7 days a week. I have to. Like, that's just, I'm addicted. And I've really been able to kind of go, let me find a way to have passive income. Because when you have passive income, you'll be addicted to the result, but not the work. And once that starts happening, you're like, okay, wait a minute, I can structure this business and it will spit off this much money from every month. I can do this affiliate deal over here, it'll spit me off this. I can set these things up and I can get paid on a regular basis to do this. And I don't have to continue to have my efforts just create my wealth, right, my income. And so for me, I'm at a lot more peace. And what I've been able to do, I think I feel real good about the people I brought with me. I mean, I look around and I see a lot of people that I had some impact on them making money, which has been super cool. You know, I've helped them sell businesses, structure things. It's not always been perfect, but I feel like I've made a difference. So 30-year-old Shawn Meaike was like, had a kid, another one on the way, scared to death, broke, working, come from a background where people had no money. I had nobody to mentor me. And I think I was probably scared of what it was going to look like. 30-year-old Shawn Meaike was wondering how he was going to send his kids to college. And I ain't remotely on my radar now. Right. They can go wherever they want, whenever they want.
That's so interesting because I feel like oftentimes people around my age, it's like we look at the age 50 as the end. And we're like, oh, shit, I'm done for it. And we think this time, you know, the YOLO mentality is like, man, this is the greatest time of our life. We're in our 20s, our early 30s. This is the best time we ever going to have without realizing. And the reason I asked that question is because every successful person I ask that's at your age, it's like, man, this is the best time of my life I've ever had. So 100%. I try to get people that's younger to understand life get better as you get older as long as you're handling business.
And what I was doing at 30, dude, most people weren't doing, or at 28, I was learning. I was watching. I watched successful people.
Okay.
I watched, I read a lot about business.
Did you?
I watched just purely business shows. If I got around people, I interviewed them. Dude, you give me a second. I went and did whatever I could do to get around people. I went when The Apprentice, the show came out forever ago. I went and auditioned for that. And my buddy's like, why are you going to audition for that? I said, because it's in New York City. I sat outside in the rain for 5 hours, okay? And I met all kinds of people. I met the people that were doing the show. I wasn't really excited about meeting Donald Trump. I was going
to ask you, did you meet him?
Yeah, but dude, I like people that like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like egotistical people. I never have, and I never will. And I'm not a, you know, you ain't gonna hear me scream and stump for politicians. I worry about me. But no, he was with him, Melania, like, cool, nice to see you, whatever. He didn't say nothing stupid to me, so I didn't say nothing stupid to him. He just walked around and shook some hands. Weird looking dude. I mean, I felt a lot better looking after I saw him. I was like, shit, I'm really good looking compared to him, you know. But I got to meet a bunch of folks, and, you know, something happened in that. I was literally 5 hours. In Trump Tower, New York City. You ever been to Trump Tower, New York City?
Nope.
So when you go in the hotel, you walk in, kind of walk, and then there's almost like an escalator. You kind of come back around, like a U-turn, and you go downstairs. And downstairs is this beautiful restaurant, the whole deal, where they had all that sectioned off for the people that were trying out for the show. And it was big. It was like the second or third year. And I was literally like, you don't know what's happening. You're just in a line. You don't know what's happening. Because when the people are done, they go out a different exit. You never see them. So you don't know what to do. You just know you're in line. You're applying for the show. You don't even know what that means. And I'm about 20 feet from the rope where I can start to see, they're at tables. I see groups of about 15 people. I still don't know what's happening because nobody's talking. They're not allowed to talk. There's a lot of security. And all of a sudden they stop us. And they're like, hey, everybody stop. We're bringing through the Wharton School of Business. And Wharton School of Business, I guess, is where he went. And, like, it's not cheap to go. And all these dudes, ladies and guys came through. And I was like, you know what? Fuck them. Like, why the fuck they get to cut me? You know? But I sat like a good boy, right? Waited. They sat down. I ended up sitting. And there was like 100 of them. There were tables. There must have been 20 tables set up, 15 people at them. So they bring us a table, and everybody at the table went to that school but me. I went to Eastern Connecticut State University. You've never heard of it. I went there to play baseball. Nobody's ever heard of it. It was enrolling admissions. I mean, you applied, you got in. You academic, they didn't care. So pretty good baseball team, but the academics was not. You know, anybody could get in. So, and they basically were doing a group interview. So the moderator comes out, and she's like, "All right, guys, here's the rules. We have 15 minutes. It's a debate. At the end of the 15 minutes, we're going to do something else. We have 15 minutes. You have to respect those opinions. You can't get up from your seat, but you can communicate with each other outside of that. There's no other rules as long as you're appropriate, not, you know, don't do anything over the top. We're going to give you a topic. We're going to sound the buzzer and go." So the topic was, should prostitution be legalized? And I was like, shit, y'all are in trouble because y'all go to Wharton. You ain't never even seen the prostitute. I've seen them on my street. But so I go in, and I worked as a social worker already. So I started talking about Las Vegas and how it's regulated, how the health concerns are less in other places, and the violence, and there's no need for, like, I went through a lot of stuff where it's actually legal and how it's run, the health department, the whole deal. And this guy stood up and said, he actually stood up and they told him to sit down. He goes, how do I know that your facts are true? And I was like, how can you prove they're not? And we went through the whole thing. And I do, like, you had to vote for project manager. If you ever watched the show back in the day, you had to vote project manager. And they did. And then I won, right? And then you had to vote for who to fire. And everybody's like, well, I guess I'd fire him. And I fired him. I was like, dude. And the guy right next to me, I was like, bro, I'd fire him. And they're like, why him? I go, we waited outside for 5 hours. 5 hours in the pouring rain. And you sat here for 15 minutes, never opened your mouth once. That's awful. 5 hours. 5 hours. That's disgusting. Yeah. And then it was like, and then other people, like, we'd fire him too. I was like, yeah, you said, because I said it. But I didn't want to be that guy in life. You give me 15 minutes or 2 minutes or 5 minutes, I'll fail, but I'm not going to sit there like, I don't know. What if they say something? I'm like, dude, you went to Wharton. I mean, how dumb can you be? I went to Eastern.
How dumb can you be?
I mean, you went to, you got in. You can't be stupid. So I think for me, it's just one of those things where at that age, I look back on, I learned, dude. That was that day. I learned, I talked to people online. We didn't know what was happening in the show. I met people. I went back. I got selected to go back like 3 times. Yeah, I didn't. And they sent 16 people to California. And I didn't get into that, which is probably because I don't even know. It could have been multiple reasons. But they also run background checks probably. So I just get in trouble a lot. Who knows? I don't know what happened or didn't happen. But, and there's a good chance if we got in a show and some dude started screaming at me, I might have fucking whacked him. You know what I mean? If he got in my face. But I was young, you know. But I was always learning. Like that day, I took a day off from work. I had to work a weekend day to cover that day I missed. And I didn't do it for any other reason than be educated. I did not think I'd actually get on the show. I didn't think I'd even move on past that day. But I wanted to be around people that were entrepreneur in spirit making money. I wasn't excited that I shook Trump's hand. He wasn't going to call me. But, like, getting around people. I was on the phone the other day with Damon John. I'm like, dude, how did this even happen?
How does that happen?
Like, how did this happen? Like, he's the nicest guy ever, right? Some stuff we talked, like, he came to our convention, we did a podcast with him. He's like, I'm working on these things over here. Can we talk? And I'm like, dude, I'll talk to you whenever. But I'm just like, I just want to be around people like that. And I'll do whatever I got to do. Not because I'm enamored, because I'm starving to be educated and get better.
That's, you know, I got some stuff I want to touch on. But where we at on time?
31 minutes.
I'm good for like another 30.
Okay.
So whatever you.
We go another 30? We got
12 what?
Okay, 12:30.
12:30
Okay.
we good.
So what? With that being said, you said you at 28 you was asking questions. So what would 28-year-old Shawn Meaike ask 50-year-old Shawn Meaike?
Well, I think what 28-year-old Shawn Meaike would ask 50-year-old Shawn Meaike was, what are 3 things that you changed over the next 22 years that allowed you to be more successful? How did you keep focused once you made enough money where money really didn't matter? Because money mattered at 28. But by the time I got to be in my 40s, money didn't matter at all. Like, it's very weird to say.
Before you got the money or post money?
I'm saying now the money don't matter.
Okay.
But it very much mattered to me. So what I would ask myself is, how did you continue to work and grind once money didn't matter? Like, what was your motivation?
That's a hell of a question.
You know what I mean? And because that was always my thing at 20, and that's what happens to most of us. It's only about making enough money. And then once we hit that number, we just start coasting.
The spark is gone.
There's no, and again, if your only desire is to make money, I'm not mad at you, but I'm just telling you, like, when you said to me, dude, I want to make a difference, I want to speak into people's lives, I saw a lot of people struggling, when I was in Chicago, I was like, that stuff, that's a purpose. When you have a purpose, it's hard to fill that purpose because there's so many people always to help.
Right, it's always new
but
people.
if it's purely just the money's a phenomenal byproduct of a phenomenal purpose. And I think for me, I'd ask myself that. I'd also probably ask myself what was the hardest thing you dealt with from 28 to 50? How'd you overcome that? And my daughter, she went to where I went to for 1 year. And then COVID hit, left Connecticut College. Okay. And she's at LMU now, at a real school, real good academic school. And but when she was at Eastern, there was a guy there, and they were like, would you like to donate? And I'm like, I went to school here, you know what I mean? Like, I've done okay. But I said, I'll only donate. I'll create a scholarship fund for people that don't have any money, that are underprivileged from this community, like where I grew, like from here. That's it. And they're like, oh, yeah, cool. So I go to meet with this guy, and he meets with me. We talk for a little bit, and I don't hear from him for like a month or two. And he sends an email inadvertently to me that he meant to send to his boss. And the subject, dude, this is 100% true, like all the stories I'll tell you, because it makes your life a lot easier. It said, he is more hat than cattle. That's how it started to his boss. So he was supposed to assess the people that were donating and see if they were legitimately had any money to donate. And then how much time should they spend to try to get them to donate. And I'm thinking, dude, it's Eastern. It ain't Harvard. You should take anything from anybody, right? And he went on to talk about why he did. And I went in his shorts and a T-shirt, which, like, okay. I had plenty of money at the time. But his rationale was, he said, Shawn said, he went through all these things. The way I was dressed, he commented about that, right? So you can definitely miss the boat if you don't know people, right? But he said, Shawn said he went through all these personal things in his life, went through a divorce, went through this, and in the same year he launched a company. Nobody could do that. So he tries to recall the email. Well, I've already printed it, so I got that shit in my hand, okay? So I hope he watches this. That'd be actually really good. And so I had that email in my hand. And so he sends the email, goes, hey, I'm sorry about that. I recalled the email. I said, don't worry, I already printed it. And he never called me because he didn't know what to say, right?
Scared.
So 2 years later, dude, my daughter is going to school there. So I show up. I said, I'm going to go to the fool's office. I was like, hey, man, how you doing? He's like, oh, my God. He starts smiling. I didn't mean, I said, no, you meant everything. Hey, you meant everything in the email. You meant it all, okay? But I need you to understand stuff. I don't know who you think you're on. I'm going to tell you something you're not going to like to hear. And if he was on, he'd tell you this is exactly how it happened. Just because in your life, every time there was a trial or tribulation, you chose to run like a bitch, doesn't mean everybody else does. So he's like, well, I thought you were going to send it to my boss. I said, I'm not going to send it to your boss. But my daughter does need a parking space. I mean, there are only so many. She does need a parking space. And she don't like her dorm room right now. She don't need no one of the other ones with another somebody. She just needs those two things. I mean, no big deal.
Simple.
And if she don't get those things, it's no big deal. I just send them an email, like forward it, because I'm just trying to look out for the university. Or she gets to me, just go like, life is good. I don't even remember what you did. My issue with people is that's how most people think. What you're doing, if you were to tell people, here's how much I make doing this, most of the people would go, he's lying.
They definitely would.
He's lying. Because they would say he didn't have any background.
Yeah.
His mom and dad didn't put him into business. They would say something. That's how people think.
You're right. You're right. That's a hell of a segue back to something that you said earlier when it really is really sticking with me because I was just at a school recently speaking with high schoolers. It was like a top business school in the country. It was high school I was at, and they have a podcast program. And when I went talking to the students and I was telling them what I'm doing, and they was telling me about my business and all that, and he was like, "Really? But you don't have on a suit?" And I was like, not to talk like I'm the most successful person in the world, but I'm like, dude, I own my own business. I make good money. I don't have to wear a suit.
Correct.
I got the right to dress
Correct.
however I want to wear.
Correct.
And it goes back to what you said. You have to earn.
You better believe it.
You have to earn your right to wear and dress however you want to dress. Because oftentimes people be like you said, this rapper's wearing this, LeBron's wearing that. It's like, dude, that's fucking LeBron James.
You ain't LeBron James,
You're not
bro.
LeBron James. Dude, you have $2,500 in your bank account. You just can't pop up anywhere
Correct.
wearing anything and
Correct.
expect respect from people.
Correct.
So that's a really powerful message that really stuck with me, man. Because that's something that people always talk to me about. They're like, man, I should be able to wear whatever the hell I want to.
Earn it. Dude, play hard. Hey, I've been on teams where the coaches are like, do this or we're gonna cut you. I'm like, okay. And I don't do it. And they didn't cut me.
They didn't cut you.
No, they weren't gonna cut me.
Too good.
It's too good. If it was basketball, I would have done everything because I wasn't any good. But it's baseball or football, it's like, they ain't gonna cut me. My buddy'd be like, yo, you're gonna be in trouble. I'm like, if you do it, you're in trouble. I ain't gonna be in no damn trouble. Like, you have to know how it's not fair. Life's not supposed to be fair. It doesn't work that way. I was watching, we were talking about this the other day, because people ask me all this stuff, and I don't know why, but they're like, yo, and I love, they go on about John Morant, right? And they're like, what happened? And Jalen Rose said something I heard, and it really messed me up. He said, you have to understand in basketball and in some sports, the athletes are expected to be role models.
Yeah.
But in other aspects of life, artists, whatever else, they would celebrate. You heard that?
Yep, I heard it.
Now think about how crazy that is. First of all, that's a lack of parenting, mentorship, the whole deal. And also, I said to him, he didn't commit no crime. Like, nobody, like, you can care. I have a gun. Always.
We all do.
You better believe it. You come mess with me, you ain't got to worry about no video. Because I'm going to shoot your ass, you come at me. You come at me with a gun, I'm shooting you. I'm good. Yeah. I'll get you. Yeah. You get me first, you better keep going. Okay? But here's what's scary is we expect that, and part of that, now, actually, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Why do we expect NBA athletes, NFL athletes, why are they held to such a high standard? They can do things that are not a crime and be vilified for them.
I think it's because the industry they're in, the NBA, NFL is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and they want to have a clean-cut image. And
so's golf. So's tennis.
True.
But NASCAR dudes take guns out and shoot animals. Nobody gives a shit.
Well,
how come when you're golfing you can't bring your cell phone in? How come when you go to a golf event, you ever been to a PGA event? I've never been to one.
I will be, though. Okay. I haven't been to one.
Most of the time, you can't bring your cell phone in. Do you know why?
I didn't know that.
Because you'll distract the poor little golfers. How come how come when kids pick up a basketball from the free throw line, we expect 47,000 people to cuss them out, scream, yell, and say stuff about their mamas? And in golf, you can't raise your voice. How come?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Okay. So what's the difference between most guys in the PGA, most dudes in the NBA? Race.
Black and white.
Black and white.
Yeah, simple.
Now, I don't know all the answers. I didn't create the rules. But all I know is you're hitting a ball at stationary. You're shooting a basketball, ain't nobody moving. Matter of fact, they can't even move in the lane until you shoot it. So why is it okay to scream at the top of your lungs and try to distract? Matter of fact, cheerleaders wave stuff. They give people shirts. Why can't people that are fans of opposing golfers stand behind the green, off the green, and why can't they wave shit? Why not? Who decided that?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I'm trying to think of a reason.
I don't know
think
either.
of one right now.
And I'm just trying to figure it out too.
Yeah.
So, but I'm just trying to, again, for me, I'm a big dude. It's got to be a level playing field in some capacity. And a lot of times you take the Ja Morant thing. If you as a parent have said, man, Ja Morant let my kid down, you fucking suck as a parent. Ja Morant can't let your son down. He don't know your son. Your son ain't going to know him. Your son's never going to call him on a cell phone. He's never going to show up at your son's birthday party. He ain't going to be at the graduation. He ain't going to be there when he has a question. But you are. So what parents do is they fucking blame other people because they don't want to parent. Parenting is hard, doing it the right way. Parenting the wrong way is fucking easy. I've seen a lot of people parent the wrong way. Like, they think it's easy. You don't do shit. It's hard parenting the right way. But it's just so messed up because, and that's my point, like, in your life as an entrepreneur, most of your folks are entrepreneurs. Find folks that are making money and having a real result. You're making money and having a real result. People should be asking questions. How about this? You get a lot of people commenting your stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Do you get a lot of people send you questions?
All the time.
All the time. True story. Are they good questions?
Most of the time, no.
Yeah.
No. I think 90% of the time, no. Every now and then it's like, oh, this is a really good question, but 90% of the time it's the same silly shit.
If I was 23 years old, shit at my age, I'm doing podcast stuff. I'll wear you out asking you questions.
I believe it.
I will wear you out because I want the information.
I believe it.
And they'll be thought out questions. You know, you have to think the quality of your life will be based on the quality of the questions you ask. And whoever wins, whoever asks the most questions in a conversation wins. That's sales 101, bro. But the quality of your life will be based on the quality of the questions you ask. I'm a good question asker. And I don't think I have any innate talent. I work my ass off and I ask good questions. And I'm wide open to being educated. And I want to make new connections with people like you who are strong.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Oh, we're just getting started.
Oh yeah. This just the beginning, and this is the final question I have for you. So, if you could talk to 28-year-old Meaike, because it's a lot of people out here that's listening, watching, and they in a similar position that you was in at 28, 30. What's the biggest piece of advice you would say to that person?
Once you start, first of all, you have to work hard at your job. Take as much time, overtime, do whatever you can do to liquidate your job. Monetize your job best you can. Don't spend no damn money you don't need to spend. You're 28 years old. Don't spend it to impress. Don't spend it. It's okay to be broke and say you're broke at 28 because you're looking for bigger and better things. If the people in your life don't understand you're broke, and they're upset about it and they're pissed off and they don't want to hang out with you, good, don't hang out with them. Also find people at 28 that are heading where you want to head and only hang out with those folks. Limit your circle. I limited my circle pretty big time, my late 20s, early 30s. But also, once you start making money, learn the power of leveraging that money. Find people that know how to leverage money. I've learned how to leverage money. I know how to borrow money. I know how to collateralize things. I know where to invest it. If you get big enough with your money, you can buy stuff as an institution. It's unbelievable what you can do investment-wise. So many things that you need to learn. And I tell you this, through your travels, you need to find somebody who's real, whatever industry you're at, find the top people and wear them out, ingratiate yourself to them, become a mentee. Like, dude, you'd like to mentor people if they want to be mentored. Me too. But most of the time they ask you stupid stuff. I don't respond. And the stupid question, I'm like, I'm not just dumb, I'm not going to respond. It's a good question, I'm like, dude, great question. And I'll even say, great question, boom, here's your answer. Sometimes I'm like, dude, give me your cell number. I'll call you and talk to you about it. But you have to go ahead and work your ass off to find those mentors and never let up, dude. And figure out what your purpose is. What is your North Star? Why are you doing this? Why on a daily basis when it gets hard? Because, dude, everybody's good when they're winning. That's why in sports, when people talk shit when they're up, it's like, dude, you've been playing the whole game. Shut up. But guys and girls that talk shit the whole time, dude, I'm like, don't fuck with them.
Michael Jordan said the same thing.
Yeah, they're down by 25 points talking shit. You're like, dude, he's serious. He thinks they're coming back. You know, and in life, you always have to be talking shit to yourself. Down, up, it doesn't matter. And then eventually what ends up happening, and I'll leave you with this, is the money's not your scorecard anymore. It's the difference you're making in the world, whether it's helping other people, whether it's paying it forward, whether it's mentoring, whether it's giving back to a charity. When that becomes your currency, dude, the money, you make enough money, I can teach you how to continue to have enough money, what to use it for, how to get a good return on investment, how to find good people to help you with it, where to go private equity-wise, what else can you invest in, where can you have very little downside risk and still a really good upside. So just find people who have been through it, dude.
Beautiful message, man. But before I let you go, I want to say, well, first I want to say thank you again for blessing my platform and coming through for me. Man. I really appreciate that, and I really want to build this relationship. I want this to continue to do. Yeah, definitely, man. But plug in all your stuff. People can follow you. Everything you got, you can just plug it.
So we do our podcast, Punch Me in the Face. Concept is life's going to punch you in the face. Talk a lot about getting back up. How do you do it? What does it feel like? You know, I always wear my Punch Me in the Face shirts. That's what I had last time. I was at a game the other day. Guys like, I'll punch you in the face. I was like, I punch back, motherfucker. You can definitely punch me in the face. You know what I mean? But life punches back. You got to be able to punch back with it. You can follow me on Instagram. That's probably the best place. YouTube. Name is Shawn, S-H-A-W-N. Last name is M-E-A-I-K-E. Don't know why it's pronounced Mike, but it is with all those vowels. You can follow me on Instagram. You go to Punch Me in the Face. We got a quick 133-page book that we give the proceeds to the Dream Center in East L.A. We sell that. We'd love to have you do it. Got some merchandise. We got to get some shirts. We got to get him some shirts. We got to bring him back some shirts. Get him every color. He got to wear some of those. They look good in that. So, but, man, if you could follow me and dude, I just want to connect with more people.
Simple as that. Y'all follow Shawn on all platforms. Y'all see the value he's bringing, so definitely tap into everything he's doing. And you guys can follow me on all platforms. I'm at Xavier C. Miller and the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. That's everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all those platforms. And that's all I have for y'all on this episode of the Millionaire Mindsets Podcast. See you guys next episode. Peace.